Ed, you seem to be muted.
I'm free from the mutation. Why do we meditate? I don't think any other group than the Indian religions and cults put such an emphasis on meditation. Is that our spiritual family came from. Nisargadatta and Robert. With meditation, we dive into that emptiness within us. Until we lose control of who we are and where we are. Try this. Sitting where you usually sit for satsang. Turn everything off except the video from this program. Look into your mind. Close your eyes and look into your mind. When your eyes are closed, you'll see just space. And where are you? In this space, you can't be found. Where you are originally, there is no trace. No trace of you. That's why meditation so often is used to get away from untenable position of the seeker in their own world. For it's up to the seeker to still their mind to the extent that they enter a deeper world than mind. You can feel your body. You You can also understand speech that's around you. But when you meditate, your mind regains focus. And you're just a body looking for your source. The koan, who am I, is so delicious. Because when you're in its grasp, all that you feel is bliss. The state is that I'm awake, but my scheduling mind is at rest. I'm just a listener and a watcher here. Basically, I do this meditation alone. Of sitting in stillness, looking within my own psyche for myself. And in meditation, we drop deep into ourselves. Deeper than thoughts. And we drop until we can't go any deeper. So you sit there, totally awake. But sort of stranded in a dreamlike wakefulness. The key note that this process reveals is ourselves in silence. When we are, we descend into bliss. So right now, I feel ecstatic. And I say, follow me here. But you ask how. Just sit back, relax, turn your attention inwards towards your heart. If you keep your attention in your head, you'll have all kinds of problems. What your thorax of your body can tolerate, the states that come through from meditation. Just sit as quietly as possible so that yourself is revealed, your true self. And what that is a existence of bliss. You fall into yourself until you fall into bliss. And you just stay there quietly, getting used to non-existence as your existence. And going within, you escape from your external world, wherever you are. When you go deep in yourself, there's only silence and bliss. The silence grabs you, your whole body. And takes you into a silence. There's nothing to be done but watch. Be aware. With your eyes shut. And your mind wide open. There's no thought. If there are thinking, it means that you've slipped back into ordinary consciousness, which is a trap, because ordinary consciousness is filled with things that attract your attention. And there's a process that goes on where emptiness itself seems to frame what you can be aware of now in such a way that it will be blissful. Once you find the bliss and get low enough into your psyche, you get below your idea or thinking mind. And you descend into peace. And it goes back and forth, back and forth. from a deep, deep, deep sense of peace and a feeling of total unity. To a position of not knowing another. You only know yourself. And if you dip your attention into and watch yourself from emptiness and from non-movement, the meditation smooths out your life. And rapidly brings you face to face with peace that grabs you soon after you recognize it. And it takes you away from everything. It's freedom from the everyday world. And from here, you dwell in the roots of your own consciousness. And you're not spinning your normal web of internal lies as to what existence means. You just rest in bliss until it passes. And you're left only in emptiness, space. But space that is filled with bliss. You know, many, many times I've started meditation and asked myself, is there anything else besides this emptiness and nothingness for the mind to be grounded, to be stabilized in? No, that's it. Right now, you and I are joined by the emptiness and through the emptiness. And we're asked to find ourselves. And as we pursue our open mind, that's also very deep and quiet. We begin to feel the bliss. And after you know the bliss, you want it to continue all the time. There's nothing to do or nowhere to go. You're already there. You're at the end of the line, exploring your depths into the unconsciousness, in effect taking waking consciousness into all the avenues of your mind and more. In this place, you're no longer in the human world. You're in the spiritual world. And you can't set this peace that you feel to be separate from any other aspect of your awareness. Your inner space is all yours. The mind plays by itself, for itself, in emptiness, and becomes ecstatic. And it leaves you wondering, what else is there to be experienced that might liberate me from the pain of being a human being? Think of it. When you're sunk within into your own deep mind, the other is not there. There's only you. You alone are. This is how it was recorded. That Buddha said, from the earth below to the sky above, only I am. From the earth below to the sky above, only I am. All the others are ghosts. And together we enter deeper samadhis, where the bliss is very profound. And we desire not to move. We don't want to break the spell of the flow of emptiness, because the emptiness is doing a function It's taking away the world we've lived in up to the time we started meditating. It takes you into a vast world of experiences and consciousnesses, but with nothing to learn. You just watch it. And the watcher becomes enthralled by the experience of who and what it is, he or she. Relatively soon after you enter a deeper consciousness, you'll become aware that only you are. That other people talking to you do so within a dream. From the earth below to the sky above, I alone am. When I come into satsang with you, and I enter my own emptiness, and I feel the bliss awakening. I've learned just to relax and let it happen. If you find an object in this emptiness, it's surely only your object. It's not universal. And if you dive a little bit deeper, you'll pass beyond the awareness that minutes before was so important. You are a sea of bliss. Which is your mind at rest. So now you have two states to live in. One of the everyday world, of the coming and going of people, commerce, animals, sights and scenes, travel. And that which lies at the core of that of the perceiver, the knower. And there's nothing for that person to do except be there now, knowing that from the earth below to the sky above, only you are. You've grasped the central spirit, the central message that lies in your own still heart. And when you're in a room of meditators, and they're told to meditate or just to be quiet, then the observer is there. And this observer is us, but at a very deep level. We finally entered the arena of spiritual knowledge, not knowledge of the world and how it operates, but it gives you a direct insertion into that vast unconscious world of bliss. Now, the more practiced you become in meditation, the easier it is to get into deep states much more quickly than you were able to do it just 6 months or a year before. Practice makes perfect. Eben Meister. You are pure spirit. You can feel this world existing within us even after our mind has grown still. We can feel our bodies. We can feel the air around us, the sounds in the room and outside of the room. But fundamentally, we're present in a different way now. In a silence and a bliss. Until you get to a place where even the bliss disappears. You'll have all kinds of things happen to you over the years. Does anybody have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that, or is this something that we all have to achieve in that living in this state that you helped us in through this pre-guided meditation? Um, is that eventually something, does a human have to eventually drop all the attachments in this other, the regular world that we're talking about? I mean, we all have passions, or at least I do. I can't speak for other people, but when I'm engaged in the earthly world, even with the stuff that I think is good, oftentimes it is a distraction from even the good things, is a distraction from attaining this other spiritual state. And it seems like even if you're going to the store or something, it just kind of kicks you out of this peace. And is it ultimately what we need to do is do we need to stay in the state as much as possible, or do we still, or are we just natural with it? I mean, as we grow older, I'm assuming that the need to be within the earthly world either diminishes or your spiritual state grabs you from it and you just stay in the spiritual state longer. So I guess the question is it an evolution that the spiritual state eventually overlaps the earthly state? Or is it something that we have to grow like a plant?
Actually, it's quite the opposite. We have to get rid of everything we think we are. Just learn that it's temporary and that there are other states of the energy body that we are. I mean, it becomes obvious that there are all kinds of things that we run into in meditation that we never dream of in the everyday world. And in a sense, being there frees us from the old ways of being blinded by the worldly processes. But you just keep going because you feel you have no choice. You're on a path of self-investigation and silence. That requires you to be silent in order to progress and go deeper into yourself. And then when you run into the levels of bliss, you're supposed to ignore these and to just keep going. But the problem is, unless you're hooked by bliss, you probably won't meditate, because meditation and the bliss of meditation is a big, big factor in drawing all those masters and students through decade after decade and hundreds of years to keep people dwelling into the emptiness of their minds as if they had never been born, and just watch what it's like for them to be born in the emptiness. We've come to the bottom of knowing. In order to find the peace of not knowing. Not knowing doesn't mean that the world disappears, but the anxiety of the mind disappears, allowing us our center of consciousness to sink into deeper levels and go through a similar kind of process every day as it enters into unconsciousness, which leads to finding this other body. That has no mass, no meaning, and lies at your core. What this meditation does for us it allows us to be grounded in consciousness without blowing our minds. It gives an explanation of how to find bliss. And we take that as enough after we find it.
Gee, also, if I may ask you about the issue of our life force, you uh, know about energy so much, is even much more than even the qigong masters. It seems like. My question is, as we age, does the if we do meditation, does the life force retain and stay intact and even grow even as we grow older, or do you see it diminishing with the spiritual self becoming stronger and the life force parallel and become weaker, or does it actually stay intact and grow if we nurture it as we get older. So I guess my question is, sir, is if the life force itself, does it get stronger as the spirituality state gets stronger, or does it have no option but to diminish as we get older with age?
It appears to get stronger.
Oh.
But what that really means is that we've fixated it into our consciousness and the things that we are aware of. And when we practice meditation like this, we drop into our deepest awarenesses. And that's the area of internalization that we're working at right now. But what happens generally is it becomes easier and easier to meditate and to just drop into that peace. And in this area, we don't know anything anymore. About the external world, except that it's not firmly attached to the deeper worlds. It's hard to come to any conclusion about what will happen because no two people have the same experiences. Similar. But what you have to know is the deeper you go, the happier you are. Not just happiness from the bliss of happiness or the bliss of emptiness, but that you've reached a place where you feel is the center of the universe of problems, and you've left it to go deeper. Problems are on the surface, where we interact with the everyday world. What our nature is not satisfied with this. It needs to find stability deeper in. So as you go as deep as you can go, and you hold it there in silence, you're developing a lifelong relationship with yourself at deeper levels of existence and mind. The immensity of the silence and the depths of consciousness are entirely gripping and fascinating, and fixate us into more and more depth in ourselves that we're not normally aware of. and the practice of being worshipful and as a curious denizen of the existence of non-trivial things deep within us carries us into the process of constant meditation. It's a touch home every time we meditate. And our real home is within us as ourself. That means that you get to feel yourself within yourself. It's almost like a living entity living within you or next to you. Eventually, through meditation, they become unified. So, whatever the problem is, meditate. When you're really bothered by some situation, meditate. Meditation will take all of the anxiety away and allow you to search for answers without that strong emotional attachment of garbage. I don't know whether I answered your question.
Yes, you did, Edgy, and I'd like to thank you so much from my heart for the special meditation today. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have questions? You know, the thing is, there is the life of a monk in a monastery, both men and women. The experiences are quite similar, but also very varied as the individual mind existence stamps its own ownership of the deeper parts of ourselves and holds it as their own self. When you practice by yourself, you can go deep, very deep, but it's possible to go deeper when you're meditating in a group because there's a group power that lends its assistance when we're all in meditation together. It becomes a closed loop and we feel each other as well as ourselves. And what you don't understand now is what you're working on. And you will understand it in a few weeks or months. You can go deeper and deeper. Can we have some music now? Something that we can sit with.
Yes, give me a moment.
That song takes me back 60 years. I remember reading his autobiography of a yogi when I was maybe 12, 13. And it sort of guided me for years as to the kind of spiritual practice I engaged in. There's so many different kinds. But the ones that won me over are meditation in emptiness and the feeling of bliss the deeper you go into yourself until everything disappears and you become nothing. There's a deep, deep part in you. When you find it, it's already there. You're already aware of it and through it. But just sit still and let it teach you. Singing devotional chants is really a strong, strong practice towards achieving this state. I remember years ago when I was in Los Angeles still. And it was near the beginning of the time that I set up these satsangs years and years ago. That the woman who more or less set everything up and made everything go found out she hated that chanting, the specific chant that we just had. But I kept pushing it as a necessity for other people to listen to be inspired by, and to hear Yogananda's voice. Of course, we have other stories. I'll tell you them someday if I remember them. Okay, folks. So glad you came.
Hey, this is Chris. Can I ask you, do you have time for a question?
Sure.
Okay. I'd like to just tell you what I've been experiencing, and I appreciate some feedback. In my daily life, and there's a I feel like I'm carrying a ball of anxiety in my stomach.
Yeah.
And it, how it, what it used to feel like to me was it was all me. That was the whole thing. But then through meditation, I can, I can feel a deepness going down and down and down. And now in my normal daily life, I feel like there's the deepness, and I'm carrying this ball in my deepness. Not like it's not like I'm the ball anymore, but I'm still carrying it, even though I feel a deeper self, if you will. And that ball is what's the word? It taints my most of my existence because it's such a tight ball. It's it's not a thought. It's just a gut feeling. And that's a tough thing for me in that I feel like in the meditation, and even in my normal life, I'm not, the things have flipped. I feel like I'm downward looking up at it. But it's really a powerful existence. It feels like a powerful in my life. And the meditation, like I said, is making me much, much more aware of it, but it's still there. And I was wondering if you had any comments about that.
It means your meditation is pretty ripe. You're right on. That block you feel, that's what needs to be mollified. You just keep aware of it and the impact it's having on your body. I too was preoccupied by a sphere of nothingness, a sphere of, I don't know how to put it, but it was like a tightness inside of me or behind me and above me. And one day, it wasn't there anymore. I was shocked and amazed that this constant companion of unhappiness suddenly left. And I didn't have to worry about it anymore, breaking it up or transitioning beyond it, because it disappeared all by itself and it's never come back. So I guess the answer is I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, and keep meditating.
That's what I figured. But sometimes, to be honest, I just want to talk to you about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, I'm done.
Oh,
But I just wanted to bring it up because you know, it's part of my whole experience right now.
yes.
And I don't, I want to be whole. I want my whole experience. I don't want to just say, push that aside, say, no, 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 I don't like that. I like the deepness. And that's why I'm bringing it up to be, I guess, more open.
Yeah. The, the thing is, don't fight it. Don't try to destroy it. Just be aware of it. Constantly aware of it. And you don't have to do anything else, like make it an object and imagine yourself chopping it up or anything like that. The ball is fixed there inside of you. It's a gift now, believe it or not, because it guides you into get rid of everything worldly in a very clear and crisp way. It's not amorphous and it's not spread all over. It's focalized. And what happened to me was I had the same sort of focalized something within me. And one day, it just wasn't there anymore. And it felt like such enormous freedom to not have it there. But I was no longer the same person that I was prior to all these experiences. But they're all gone, all gone. I feel no dis-ease anywhere within me. No, nothing where I'm not being, nothing where I'm not aware of. Just take it as a gift, not as a problem. It's your gift to meditate on.
It feels like that. It feels like a thing that is embodying my old attachment. It does feel like that is the core of the, the last, I don't even have to call it the last, but a big piece of something.
Give it a name.
Yeah.
Think up a name. Don't do it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really feels like on the other side is freedom.
That's exactly what's true.
But it's the thing. Like I feel it as a barrier to freedom. And it doesn't go ahead.
It's like a membrane you have to break through in order to reach bliss consciousness, in order to reach even beyond bliss consciousness. But it's definitely, it's not an obstacle. It's an entree. It's your entrance into the unknown. And you penetrate it and it disappears. And you're left free with these free roaming energies coming and going, and you're happy as a lark. If a lark can be, what is a lark anyway? Anyway, I didn't know it could be happy.
It feels exactly like what you're saying. It's like you did. It feels like I said barrier, but like you said, it's really a doorway or a passage to freedom.
Yes. And you're lucky that it occurred so early into your meditation career.
Okay. Well, like I said, the main thing is I just wanted to tell you the full picture and not just talk about certain only partial aspects. This is the whole piece of my current practice, if you want to call it that.
It's very advanced.
And I'll stop
just
there.
Pursue it that way. Is to just focus on that ball.
Okay.
Stare into it. Feel into it. Imagine you're feeling into it with your fingers. make it a subject of meditation. You know, really, once it disappears, everything is different and more relaxed.
Yes. Yes, it feels like that. It feels like on the other side is freedom.
Should give it a name, like Tom, Dick, or Harry, or call it, I don't know, call it my blockage.
That sounds too rectal.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Bye. All right, everybody. Love you all. I really do. Come back again. I've been having some difficulty coming to satsang because for some reason I sleep much later on a satsang day than I would on a normal day. And then I wake up 10 minutes before satsang and I say, oh shit, how can I prepare myself for satsang in 10 minutes? Well, it takes me more than 10 minutes to find out how to get into satsang. But it was good today. It was good. Thank you so much. See you next week. Same time, same place. Bring your ball.
I'll pull it out so we can all play with it.
Ew, no.
Ew.